Welcome today to today's presentation on consultation. My name's James. I've been in the construction industry for approximately 20 years. I'm a carpenter by trade, I've got a diploma in building and construction, and also have a cert in health and safety. Now, obviously, today's talk is going to be about consultation. Consultation is a word we've probably all heard before. It's something we do on a daily basis, whether we're aware or whether we're not aware. You'll be, consulting with yourself about what clothes to buy, consulting with your partner on which holidays to go on. And in the workplace, it is no different. Consultation is required as a part of the health and safety function. So today we're going to talk about consultation and its significance in the workplace. What is consultation? By dictionary definition, consultation is a formal or informal discussion with someone or a group to get advice, information, or agreement. So that is a dictionary definition, and I'm going to move on why it's important, especially in regards to health and safety in the workplace. Why is consultation important in the workplace? It is a legal requirement under the OH&S Act 2004. You can obviously find this in Division 6, Part 4. I'm not going to go on about that, but as part of the legislation, it is a requirement that you conduct consultation with employees or workers within the workplace when in regards to physical hazards or change of work conditions in the workplace. So by law, under this Part 4, Section 35A, consultation must take place when you are changing physical hazards or any risks to a person on a workplace. Consultation, as well as your legislative obligations, consultation also promotes an inclusive workforce. When you're consulting people, you are actually creating a positive work culture where you're engaging them, making them feel a part of the company, making them feel like their opinion matters. So this is really important. We can harp on about your legislative duties, but there's so many other benefits within the workplace, and promoting an inclusive workforce is one of them. It can help with productivity and efficiency. So again, consultation, we're always going to loop back, yes, it is a legislative requirement, but I also just want to emphasise the importance on it on a whole. So productivity and efficiency, when you're constantly talking to your employees, you're constantly talking to your managers, you can actually get an insight from the people on the front line on how to improve their roles, how to improve the company, what challenges they face, and how you are able to implement a plan to change all those things within the workplace. So productivity and efficiency can definitely benefit by going through this consultation process. And it helps identify workplace needs, so it kind of loops back to productivity and efficiency. When you've got like a positive consultation process, you can identify workplace needs, and not only, we always want to loop back to the legal requirements, like when people may find their jobs a little bit too hard or a little bit unsafe, consultation, go back to what they need, then are we satisfying legislation? We can change the workplace, identify new hazards, eliminate, isolate, or substitute by going through the hierarchy of controls, obviously. But helping identify workplace needs, that's also a benefit of consultation in the workplace. So when do we need to consult? Identifying hazards or assessing risks. So I mentioned this before, consultation needs to take place when you are changing the conditions in the workplace, when it's affecting your employees. So identifying hazards or assessing risks. When we are changing workplace hazards and assessing the risks, we need to consult the employees. Now, in the hazard identification process, it is very important that we are talking to these frontline workers. And obviously that can be through safety meetings, that can be through pamphlet feedback, that can be through site walkthroughs, and just getting a gauge on what they are facing day in, day out. And obviously assessing risks, obviously the consultation process must happen. So again, we look back to that legislative obligation, and yes, it must happen. Making decisions about risk control measures. So again, just reiterating that anything that changes within the workplace, and if you are going to change the environment that people are working in, you must consult with these workers that it's going to affect. So that's obviously risk control measures, anything that you will change, you must consult. Obviously I think that's going over what we already just said. And then obviously deciding on procedures. So once you've gone through, you've identified hazards, you've assessed the risks, you've consulted with the employees, you've taken in all the information, you now have to come up with a plan, an implementation plan to decide on these procedures. And when we're going back, we obviously need to consult with the employees to make sure that they understand the plan. If there's any issues with the plans that they disagree with or they agree with, just deciding on the procedures in those implementation plans, we must consult as well. So what do we know about consultation? As I said, it's a requirement by law under the OH&S Act 2004. So, there's so many benefits with consultation as far as like business development, productivity, efficiency and all that. But we need to look back to the OH&S 2004 that it is a requirement by law that we do consult with employees in regards to health and safety in the workplace. Breaches of this can be upwards to like $3 million breaches. You do have the involuntary manslaughter clause that came in a few years ago, where if you are found that you are breaching or multiple breachments or continual breachments of the Act, you can be put in jail. So obviously we do need to make sure we are following everything we need to follow that is in these in legislation. It creates an inclusive work site, leading to strong workplace relationships. So obviously we've touched on this, and I think this is just as important. It helps create a positive work culture where people feel like they're in a no-blame culture. When you can start getting people to come forward when it's in regards to health and safety, or anything that even not health and safety related, it helps create an inclusive workforce, and it does build strong relationships within the company. So when people feel like they matter, they will obviously want to put more into the company. And obviously can help reduce incidents. So just creating that positive work culture, creating a no-blame culture, creating a culture where people are willing to come forward. We will get incident reports. We will get feedback on what's working, what's not working, and with all that information we can analyse it and then create procedures to minimise the incidents by going through the hierarchy of controls and eliminating or isolating, substituting, or completely changing procedures. So it can help reduce incidents, and which is very important as well. And improve decision making. Again, going back to the consultation, when we have all the information that we need, we can make better adjustments in the workplace by making better decisions. So, when you create a culture where people don't come forward, you're not really going to get all the information you need. But again, when we create a healthy, an inclusive work site leading to stronger workplace relationships, it comes into, gives us an opportunity to improve the decision making, can reduce incidents, and it all loops back to the obligation, the legislative obligation that we have. Obviously, this is very important here, but I feel like that if we, looking at it as a whole, it can really work for the company, it can work for the people, and you can also fulfill your legislative duties. And improve business performance, and everybody knows that when you're making money, we're all happy, like this fella right here. So anyway, I hope you've taken a bit about the consultation and why we need it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, guys.